Have you ever wondered what the worst wars in history were? That's what we're exploring today as we delve into the 5 most devastating conflicts of all time. These wars, marked by staggering casualty numbers, widespread destruction, and lasting impacts, have shaped the world in ways we still feel today. We'll journey through these dark periods in chronological order, offering a broader historical perspective. So buckle up, history buffs. Get ready to delve into the past and learn about the grim reality of these devastating conflicts. Our journey begins in the 13th century with the Mongol conquests. This epic saga of expansion and domination was led by none other than the formidable Genghis Khan and his successors. From the steppes of Mongolia, they forged an empire that spanned across Asia and Eastern Europe, making it the largest contiguous land empire in history. But this expansion came at an enormous cost. The Mongol conquests were marked by widespread devastation, the likes of which the world had seldom seen. Cities were razed, cultures uprooted, and an estimated tens of millions of lives were lost. The Mongols were relentless and their tactics brutal. Their horse-riding warriors swept across the land, leaving behind a trail of destruction and death. This period of conquest and conflict significantly reshaped the regions they touched, altering their course of history. The Mongol conquest changed the face of Asia and Eastern Europe and left a deep scar in human history. We move forward to the 17th century, to the 30 Years' War. This conflict, fought primarily in Central Europe, was not merely about territorial disputes, but was deeply rooted in religious tensions and power struggles. It was a time when Catholic and Protestant states battled for dominance, with each side desperate to assert their religious and political beliefs. The war was grueling and brutal, taking a heavy toll on the population. Massive casualties were recorded, and the loss of life was further compounded by the widespread destruction of towns and cities, leading to famine and disease. It was a war that left scars on the face of Europe, scars that would influence its future. The aftermath of the 30 Years' War witnessed significant political changes across the continent. Boundaries were redrawn, alliances were shifted, and the balance of power was permanently altered. It was a conflict that forever changed the course of European history. The 30 Years' War reshaped the political landscape of Europe, leaving a long-lasting legacy. Next, we travel to mid-19th century China, to the Taiping Rebellion. A civil uprising like no other, the Taiping Rebellion was a brutal conflict that raged for over a decade, from 1850 to 1864. The rebellion was led by the Taiping Heavenly Kingdom, an insurgent group that stood in fierce opposition against the reigning Qing dynasty. This was a war that exacted a heavy toll on the nation, with catastrophic casualties reaching an estimated 20 to 30 million lives. The sheer scale of loss is hard to comprehend, but it wasn't just the combat that proved deadly. Famine, an unwelcome companion to war, shadowed the conflict, further escalating the death toll and deepening the tragedy. The repercussions of the Taiping Rebellion reverberated through the ages, leaving a lasting imprint on China's history. It was a dark chapter, marked by immense suffering and loss of life, a testament to the devastating consequences when peace gives way to conflict. The Taiping Rebellion was a dark chapter in China's history, causing immense suffering and loss of life. Lastly, we arrive at the 20th century, a time marked by 2 world wars. The first of these, known as the Great War, was a global conflict that spanned from 1914 to 1918. It introduced us to the horrors of modern warfare with the deployment of new technologies like machine guns, tanks, and chemical weapons. This war involved numerous countries and led to the deaths of around 20 million people. Then, merely 2 decades later, the world was plunged into chaos once again with the onset of World War II. From 1939 to 1945, nations across the globe were embroiled in the deadliest conflict in human history, with an estimated death toll exceeding 70 million. This war saw widespread devastation on an unprecedented scale. It bore witness to the Holocaust, a genocide which claimed the lives of 6 million Jews. It was also during this war that the world saw the devastating power of atomic bombs used for the first time in warfare. These 2 wars brought about significant geopolitical changes, reshaping the world map and the balance of power. Nations rose and fell, borders were redrawn, and the seeds of present-day conflicts were sown. World War I and II, with their unprecedented scale and devastation, indelibly marked the 20th century and changed the course of human history. So, these were the 5 worst wars in history. From the expansive conquests of the Mongols to the global conflicts of the world wars, each brought unparalleled devastation and loss. The death tolls were staggering, tens of millions perished, societies crumbled, economies faltered, and the world map was redrawn time and again. Yet in the face of these grim realities, humanity persists. Let this serve as a reminder of the devastating impact of war and the importance of striving for peace.